Hey guys, it's City here. Welcome back to another video. Thank you, Yuki, for that. You are right on time today, Yuki. Today, I'm going to be talking about cockatiels and the bad sides of owning cockatiels. I feel like it's been a little while since I've actually made a video just on cockatiels, but today, I want to talk about all of the bad sides of owning them, because although most of the time it's just good things, there are always bad sides to owning every animal, I think. And I feel like on the internet, a lot of the time you don't see those sides, you just see all the good stuff, and then people go out and buy a cockatiel, and then they realize that there's actually a lot more that goes into it, and cockatiels aren't instantly gonna be like, you know, cuddly, cutesy birds, you know, there's a lot more into it than that. I do get a lot of comments quite often asking me like, why their cockatiel is not as tame as mine, and sometimes I do worry that people are gonna buy a cockatiel just because they see mine and think that their cockatiel is gonna be the exact same, when that's not the case. So hopefully this video will help you with that. So I have 3 cockatiels. This is Yuki, as you guys know. He is my tamest boy. Over there is Ren, she's my female, and oh, he's in the cage. Up there is Tofu, and he's the loud one. He usually does the screaming in my videos. So for number 1, the bad side of owning cockatiels is that they can take a while to bond with you. And you can't expect your bird to instantly be bonded to you as soon as you get it. Which is the same with every animal, but some people don't realize this and expect that their bird's gonna love them and want pets as soon as they get them, but that's just not the case. Every bird is completely different, and some birds might not even want scritches like Yuki does. For example, have you ever seen me scritch these two? No, you don't, or very rarely, because those two don't like scritches. Well, okay, sometimes they do, but not as much as Yuki does. Tofu is a rescue bird, so he's still not comfortable with the idea of my hand being near him. You can see he was running away from my hand because he doesn't want my hand to be near him, which is fine, I respect that. So this can totally depend on your bird's personality. It also does depend on how tame your bird is. Like, say you just got your bird, say you got them from a pet store and they're an aviary raised bird, they're probably going to be terrified of you, because aviary raised birds don't have a lot of human interaction, which is why I would recommend you get a hand raised bird if you want to get a cockatiel that's going to be easy to tame. Aviary raised birds can still be tamed, but they kind of tend to do better staying in aviaries a lot of the time, and you have to expect that they're going to take quite a while to get used to you, and they may never want like scritches, and you do have to respect that. You know, you gotta respect their boundaries just like you should with any animal, and you do have to expect that every animal is different. They're not all going to be the same. Many people have had lots of success with taming aviary raised birds and, you know, having a bird that loves scritches and being very cuddly and stuff like that, but also many people haven't, and sometimes aviary raised birds just don't do as well with people. Hand raised birds usually are a lot easier to tame because they're already very used to hands because they were raised by people, but also they can still be very different. So Ren and Yuki were both hand raised birds from the same person, but Ren is very different to Yuki. So Yuki became comfortable with me very quickly. Like, it probably took him like a couple of days until he let me scratch him. Very quickly he became very bonded to me and still is now. But Ren here, despite having the same treatment and also being hand raised, she isn't really as comfortable with like being on my hand or shoulder like Yuki is. It also is a bit different because she used to live with my partner when he was in a different household. Ever since he moved to living with me, she doesn't really like scritches like at all. She's only very rarely let me give her scritches, but most of the time she just likes to hang out on her own, so I just kind of let her do that, and she seems to be happy doing that. But yeah, that just kind of shows how different they can still be. It also can be that females sometimes can be a little less social than males, and sometimes they can take a bit longer to tame. I don't know how, like, if that's proven or not, but that's just what I've read online and what a lot of people say, that females like are harder to tame and stuff like that. But she's still a very happy cockatiel, and she's happy doing her own thing, so I don't try to pressure her into like accepting my love. I'm not gonna be like that TikTok guy I talked about in my last video.
Good girl, Maddie.
Ren and Tofu will like scratch each other and stuff, which is super cute. So I think she kind of prefers to be around other birds instead of around humans, and that's fine. Like I said, you gotta respect their boundaries, and if they don't want scritches, don't force them into it, because forcing your bird is no way to get them to learn to do something. It can just make them not trust you, so you don't want your bird to lose trust in you. Honestly, the best thing you can really do is just be very patient with your bird. Make sure to be offering them treats while you're training them. This video isn't like a full in-depth of how to tame your bird, because I feel like there's plenty of videos online you can find on how to do that, but it's something you should be aware of before getting a bird, is that sometimes you do have to help tame them, and sometimes that can take a while. It is really cool watching them change though throughout owning them. Like Tofu, since he was a rescue, he was very chaotic when we first got him. He would bite and scream, and yeah, he still does scream a bit, but it's really not bad compared to what it used to be. It used to be constantly, every day, like all day. Now it's just like every other day during like the mornings or during like night, and he used to bite a lot as well, and he still sometimes does if you accidentally put your hand too close to him. He started off really scared of like hands and people and everything and he's grown so much. It's really kind of amazing seeing how much he's changed. Although he isn't comfortable with me putting my hands too close to him, he'll come like sit on my shoulder in his own time, or he'll sit on the back of my chair, or hit my head. He loves sitting on my head, actually. It's like his favorite spot. So that's really cool. It makes me really happy that he's comfortable with being that close to me now. And I think it helps that he also seems to copy what Yuki does a lot, because he tries to like, Yuki's always sitting close to me, so Tofu tries to follow him, and it's adorable, honestly. It's the cutest thing ever. And you know, he may not ever want my hands to be too close to him, but I'm just happy as long as he's happy doing his thing in his own time. Okay, so the next one is that they can be very loud. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you're probably already aware of that, because I do let them just talk and scream in the background of my videos, which some people hate. But a lot of you guys actually seem to like it, which is good because I don't really have anywhere else to film. I do try and cut out when they're super loud, but sometimes I legit like don't notice it because I'm so used to hearing them. But they're actually fairly quiet right now. It is getting a wee bit late. Yeah, Ren is literally falling asleep behind me. Aww. Yeah, it is getting a bit late in the day for them. But yes, you do need to be aware that cockatiels are not quiet birds. My loudest cockatiel is probably definitely Tofu, because he kind of just screams. But like I said, he's gotten a lot better and he does that a lot less now. And now he's also learnt Yuki's songs, and they both like sing together, which is so cute. But yeah, sometimes cockatiels might be louder than others. Ren's pretty quiet. Females are usually quieter than males. They don't sing like males do, but they still make sounds, and I have heard of people having very loud females before that just scream. So even if you get a female thinking they're gonna be quiet, sometimes they're not. So if you don't like loud noises, then a bird probably isn't the best pet for you, because they can be loud. Look at me. Good boy. Good boy. Also, they can be especially loud when they hear like themselves. Like sometimes I'll start editing a video without my headphones on, and they'll hear themselves on my video and start screaming, so I have to wear headphones. Which is kind of funny, honestly. And I also get comments saying that my birds make their birds scream, so yeah, definitely hearing other birds or themselves makes them scream the most. Okay, next is they can be very messy. I think people seem to underestimate how messy birds can be. Be prepared to never have a clean floor ever again. Tofu just wants to say pretty boy now. Pretty much your floor will permanently be covered in pellets or seed or pretty much any food you give them for the rest of their life, so get ready for that. But yeah, my floor is always covered in bird food. I have to vacuum it like constantly, and even like right after vacuuming it, like 10 minutes later, it's messy again. You kind of just have to expect that now and just not get too fussed about the mess, because it's just part of it. Even pellets are messy. Like pellets, like they say that they make less mess than seed. They don't. There's always pellets all over my floor. Maybe my birds are just messy birds, but my floor will never be clean ever again, and you know, I'm fine with that. They also love to rip up newspaper. Like the newspaper that I put down at the bottom of the cage, they love to rip that up. It definitely isn't as bad as like if you had like a giant parrot like a macaw or something. I'm sure macaws are way messier than cockatiels, but don't underestimate how messy small birds can be. Because they can be messy. And yes, they poop a lot. Poop everywhere. This is like the most common question I get asked, is like how I deal with them pooping, and like do they poop all over my room and stuff like that. Yes, they do. And honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Like, cockatiel poop is so small and like, it's really not that bad. It's really easy to clean it up. And yes, they do poop on my clothes sometimes, but it washes out so easily. As long as you notice it quickly and then put your shirt in the wash, it'll be fine. Cockatiels poop like every 10 to 15 minutes, I think, so yeah, they poop a lot. I have heard of people training their birds to poop like in their cage, but honestly, I really am not bothered by the poop that much. Wet wipes is your friend. Always have wet wipes with you, like on your desk, and just use that to wipe it up. It's really easy. It's really not that bad. Okay, the next thing is hormonal aggression. This is something that every bird owner should be aware of, because this does happen, and it pretty much happens to most people who have a bird. So basically, birds do get hormonal, especially during like spring and summer. Here in New Zealand, it is spring, almost summer now. So I have noticed a slight amount of like hormonal aggression. Like Yuki, these past couple weeks, he's gotten a wee bit feisty with me, and I'm pretty sure it's just because of like hormonal aggression, because it happens for like a few minutes. He goes through a bit of feisty where he's just kind of like, he's kind of nibbling me in an angry way. It's not like aggressive, like it doesn't hurt or anything, but you know, it's just a bit weird for him to do that because he's never like that. And I realized that it's because he's hormonal probably and is like frustrated or something. So usually I just like put him on his perch or something and he's over it like very quickly. That is something I've noticed with him lately, but thankfully it's pretty rare. It's nothing too major, but that is part of it sometimes, and it can be a little bit sad seeing them like be angry at you for no reason sometimes, but you just have to realize that sometimes they're going to be like that for a little bit. You just have to kind of leave them alone. Sometimes reducing like daylight hours can help reduce like hormonal aggression in birds, but for my birds it really hasn't been that major enough that I felt the need to do that, because it only happened to me like 2 times. One time it happened on stream. He was very angry at me for no reason, and it also happened to me earlier today. Sorry guys, I'm losing my voice. Can you not do that, please? What is with you today? You're being so rude. Do you want scratches? Because you can't bite me and then expect scratches. Just come here then. Come here. What is happening? What is with you today, Yuki? You're so rude. Hey! I think he's a bit hormonal right now. Why are you so rude to me? That was mean. And Ren has laid a few infertile eggs this season as well, which is something that female birds will do. They might lay some infertile eggs. She doesn't sit on them or anything, she just lays them like... She sits on her perch and lays them and they crack on the bottom of the cage because she doesn't care about them. But they don't have a nesting box or anything like that, so they don't actually like breed. But sometimes she does lay some eggs. Okay, for the last one I'm going to talk about today is night frights and clumsiness. This is something I actually dealt with quite a lot when I first got Yuki, and I feel like it's something that not many people seem to talk about, but it seems to be quite a common thing with birds, especially with young birds, because I don't have this problem anymore, or it very rarely happens now, but night frights are very, very common with cockatiels. Basically, what I mean by that is they get like a startle from something in the night and they flap around their cage going crazy, like could be from like a noise or I don't know, something scared them, and they fall off their perch and stuff, and it's really scary because they can actually injure themselves from that, and sometimes they can actually like die from night frights, like heart attacks. So it is quite scary, but it seems to be very common with cockatiels. When I first got Yuki, he came to me with his wings clipped, which I did not ask for. I did not want that. And so while he was growing back his feathers in, he keeps getting like blood feathers breaking because he kept having night frights and he couldn't really fly and catch himself, so he just kept hurting himself. So that was really scary. Like a lot of times I would wake up in the night to him flapping around, and I would rush down to see if he was okay, and then he'd be like bleeding, and then I would, you know, be panicking and like putting on cornstarch on his injury to make it stop bleeding, and just like crying and freaking out because I thought he was going to die. He always ended up being fine. But you know, it's really hard to not freak out when stuff like that happens. But I haven't had that happen in such a long time. Sometimes they'll flap around at the night, I'll check on them and they'll be fine, but I always check on them just in case. But it very rarely happens now. But when you were a little one, it happened quite a lot, didn't it? It was very scary. Very scary. Yeah, it was very scary. So one of the things that I found really helped is not covering the cage. I actually don't cover the cage at night anymore. Unless I'm like awake when it's late, then I'll cover the cage. But when I go to bed, I always take the cover off. It seems to help them a bit, as well as I used to leave a nightlight on for him. Like when I first got him and he had them really bad, I used to leave a nightlight on so he wouldn't get them. That seemed to help quite a lot. So if you're having problems with your bird having night frights, try not covering the cage and leaving on a nightlight. And hopefully they will grow out of it. Yuki did grow out of it, thankfully, so it seems to just be a bit of a temporary thing while they're young. And also, cockatiels are known for being very clumsy while they're young too, so they might just fall off the perch or something, like, you know, just because they're clumsy. And if their wings are clipped, that will also make them even more clumsy, which is one of the many reasons why I don't recommend clipping wings. But you know, sometimes they might come to you clipped without you, you know, realizing that, and that happened to me. So yeah, that is all the things I can think of for now on some of the bad sides of owning cockatiels. There's probably more. I have made a few videos on cockatiels you can watch too if you want to know more about them. Feel free to add anything I might have missed in the comments or ask questions. But yeah, hopefully this video could help you guys. I know you guys always like seeing the cockatiels. But yeah, let me know what else you'd like to see next on my channel, and thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!